Welcome to First and Gold, presented by Pickett Sports, the final Sunday of the regular season. Where does the time go? To break it all down, who needs to win, what games matter, what games don't matter, what games might matter. We got a lot to unpack here. Matkafee, BradThomas, what's going on, guys? The final week of the season. It's amazing, isn't it?
It's crazy. This is actually like the scariest week of the season too, like from a betting perspective. Like there's so many times where we say, "Oh man, these teams aren't going to care," but like these are grown men playing a grown men violent sport. Like a lot of them are going to care.
Yeah, I'm fascinated to see what happens here. I've got my massive parlay that I built out, my money line. We're on to Sunday, so let's see if it can keep working out. But yeah, it's fun. These contract incentives, they're definitely in play. You got to watch those for the player props. And but yeah, I think we clearly have a lot of teams that are trying to win, and then we have a lot of teams that are not trying to win. So
yeah.
Tough day for ATS probably, but pretty good day to pick out some money lines.
What do you make yesterday? Chiefs get the one, Jags win the division. They are the 4 seed, probably hosting the Chargers. It looks like some of the look ahead lines are up. It would be the Chargers laying a point in Jacksonville. Anything jump out at you in terms of those two games?
Go ahead, Brad.
No, nothing for me. I do want to talk a little bit when we get a chance about the Bengals scenario. I think theirs is kind of interesting. I kind of want a question from you guys because I didn't really get how they were getting that screwed. Like, I mean, they got control their own destiny. So maybe I'm just missing something.
Well, the thing is, if they beat Buffalo on Monday night, which obviously the game didn't finish and for good reason, but if they had beaten Buffalo, they host, the 2-3 matchup against Buffalo in the second round. Now they're going to have to go to Buffalo. So they didn't get that opportunity. So the league sort of assumed a Buffalo win there. Were like, hey, if I'm Cincinnati, I got the ball, I got the lead, and I'm at home. And you're going to tell me I had no chance to win that game. And I know it's a sensitive topic. And, it's sort of a bad look when you start to, guy almost died. Guy literally died and came back to life. But like, if I'm Cincy, I mean, hey, I want that round 2 game at home. I don't, at least a neutral field like you did with the Chiefs and the Bills. That's my perspective from Cincy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they were road dogs though last year. They can get it done. And then maybe that disrespect, that chip on your shoulder will just be great motivation for them. I understand being a little upset, but you got to pivot and make lemonade when life gives you the lemons here. So it's almost a blessing in disguise for Zach Taylor. He can just use this as a disrespect chip here the rest of the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's one way to look at it, but if I'm Cincy, I want that round 2 game at home. I don't want to go to Buffalo. That's a good home field. I know what you mean, though. So that's the situation we're in. We'll just get into the games because we got a lot of them to get to. Some of them matter a lot. Some of them might matter. So let's just sort of get through it. This is Dolphins hosting the Jets, 1:00 window. They backloaded a lot of the schedule, but the Dolphins are hosting the Jets. Skylar Thompson versus Joe Flacco, and we got Skylar Thompson and the Dolphins laying 3.5 here at FanDuel. Total 37.5. I like the under here. Flacco's been a corpse. Skylar Thompson hasn't really shown much. You know what? If you get to 38 plus points and you beat me, so be it. But the Dolphins are in a situation where they need a win and they need the Patriots to lose to the Bills, which is certainly feasible here. So, Matt, I'll let you start. Dolphins, Jets, anything you got?
I lean Miami. I just think if they stick to what they do best, which is hard for them to do, I know they get away from it, which is run the ball on the edges. And then get the wide receivers the ball quick. They should have enough to get past the Jets. That being said, I don't trust either team. I think I definitely wouldn't lay the points here. I think Flacco is just maybe good enough to get you the cover. So for me, I don't really have any investment in this one. Outside of I would say I have a lean for Miami, but it's a total stay away spot for me.
Yeah, this is a stay away spot for me as well. Like I even wanted to kind of think about taking Elijah Moore's receiving under. He's hitting back-to-back games. But I mean, Joe Flacco has enough in his arm, like Matkafee said, where he can keep them in this game. So all it takes is one big play for Elijah Moore to bust his under. But that's probably where I would lean. Side and total here. I'd probably lean Miami, honestly. It's just a different game when you're playing with a little motivation. Like the Jets, sure, they want to play spoiler here, but they're playing spoiler with a bad offense. Doesn't normally happen. Like when you see spoiler, you see it's like a team like the Lions who have the electric offense, and they just outscore the other team. But I just couldn't think about putting hard-earned money on this game. So I end up passing on this one.
Yeah, some stats about Flacco, man. You dig into how bad he's been. I think it's his last 20 starts. His team is 3-17. In 7 of those 20 games, he has not thrown a touchdown pass. So, boy, pretty amazing. Some of these quarterbacks that are playing in meaningful games. I mean, you look at Dobbs last night, almost winning a division, and just go around the league, man. It's dire straits for some of these quarterbacks. But I like the under here. I think it'll be an ugly game. I think Miami probably be a little conservative, just try to get out of here with a 14-10 type of win. And hope the Bills take care of business against the Patriots. I don't know that they would get Tua back for a wild card round. That's a dicey situation, but hey, a chance to get in, a realistic chance to get in for Miami. Quickly here, first touchdown. Tyreek is the short shot plus 650. Anything you guys like, Brad? Anything for you?
No, not for me. I'd probably, if I were to take something, I'd probably take something on the ground with one of the running backs here, like maybe Wilson. But then you have to think about Mostert, hawking those as well. So just staying away there.
Matt, anything first touchdown?
Man, I don't know. I feel like just for old time's sake, we go Miami Dolphins defense and special teams. But yeah, I don't have a strong lean either way. There's nice value in the middle range today. So, Gesicki, I'm seeing like 22-1. I think that has decent value, like Tyler Conklin on the other side of things, 16-1. I know Wilson has a pretty good rapport with Flacco. It's just seared into my brain watching Flacco dice up my Browns secondary to Wilson over and over and over again. So you can grab him at 12-1. I think that's a decent play too, and that might be the most realistic of anything I said.
Browns in Pittsburgh, Steelers laying 2.5. Totals come down to 39.5, which is what you'd expect, man. The Steelers have not scored a lot of points. They've sort of snuck by the skin of their teeth with some of these wins, but they are right there now. And they're thinking, hey, if the Patriots lose, if the Dolphins lose and we win, they're in. That's like a plus 380, plus 400 something parlay. Not totally unfeasible. Pittsburgh laying 2.5 against your Brownies. To me, Matkafee, the Browns are a really good teaser leg. This should be a close game, 20-17 somebody. So lean towards the Browns. I'll probably bet them in some sort of teaser fashion. What do you got here, Browns and Steelers?
Yeah, it's another stay away game for me, just because of the rivalry and not knowing exactly how plugged in the Browns will be for this one. This is a chance to send the Steelers home and give them a losing season, which I know is motivation. This is, the primary rival for the Browns. And I think you'll get a pretty good effort. I do think. I like the teaser angle that you said. It is a perfect teaser leg. Steelers aren't going to run away with this thing. I just wonder, this might be a game where you play some defensive props. Like I think Garrett can get a sack. I think TJ Watt can get a sack. I know a lot of people like the running backs today. I think Chubb and Harris could have nice days. If you're forcing me to make a pick on just the normal number, I would take the Browns and the points. 2.5 doesn't seem like a ton, but if this game ends, 17-16 or, something like that, it wouldn't surprise me, 21-20. And so I would take the Browns here just because I think a chance to send your rival home is too good to pass up. So I think we get a good effort.
Yeah, for me, I'd probably take Steelers money line. You could have got a better price earlier in the week at 150. I just couldn't play it. I think the Steelers win here, but like you guys said, it's going to be a low scoring game. So grabbing points here is not something, laying points here is something I don't really want to do. I do think the Steelers defensively are going to do enough to stop Nick Chubb. They have a pretty good run defense. And then I haven't been impressed with Deshaun Watson yet. Like I know that he didn't play for 1,000 years. But like this is the last game of the season. I don't think he's just
been bad.
I just think he's a voila and turn it on. I did take Najee Harris rushing yards over 69.5 over on FanDuel. He's hit this in 2 of his last 3. Browns 29th in rush DVOA, allowing 134 rush yards per game, but they're allowing over 169 run yards in their last 3 games on average. And we've seen the volumes there for Najee Harris. Like, they are running, they are pounding. So I'm taking his over 69.5 rushing yards.
Anything first touchdown. The short shot here is Harris plus 550, Chubb plus 650. Chubb's not bad at plus 650. Anything for either of you guys?
I think Amari Cooper, he's got a really nice rapport building up here with Watson. I think the Steelers secondary can get thrown on, and especially in the cornerback positions. I like the matchups here. I think Cooper would be my play. If you want an angle from the Pittsburgh side of things, I would take their defense and special teams just in case something crazy happens. I could see a scoop and score kind of situation. It'll be a wild atmosphere. A miscommunication, a wide receiver falls down, a pick six type of a thing. But yeah, I think Amari Cooper's the guy.
I'd probably take the tight ends, Pat Freiermuth or Njoku. Like, I know a lot of me wants to take Deontay Johnson just because he's been finally getting more looks in the red zone, but like, he just doesn't have enough volume for me to justify plus 825.
I think he has a end zone allergy.
Yeah, it's like, and like, what's funny is like, I think his team is like, you're open in the end zone, so I'm just gonna overthrow you. It's like, that sucks.
Speaking of end zone allergy, I had Mahomes for the first one yesterday, and I was out to dinner, and looked like he was gonna run that thing in, man. In the last second, he just flipped it to McKinnon.
Yeah.
That's that sight is burned into my brain. I don't know that he would have had it because there was two.
He was about to get killed.
He was about to get killed. Yes. So the replay made me feel a little better, but just that second of like, oh,
right.
you know how it is when you got a first touchdown. You're trying to, will it? You're trying to picture how it's going to go, and then he starts to take off. He's running towards the goal line.
You were so close.
Oh, so close, so close. Yeah. But like you said, there's two guys right there. He probably wasn't going to get in. So
yeah,
that was a tough one. That was a tough one, but you know what? It's part of doing business when you take these first touchdown scorers. A game we'll all be watching. The Colts are laying 3 against the Texans. I think the Texans have gotten the memo here. We saw them last week. Hey, it's cute that you're taking the Chiefs to overtime. It's cute you to play the Cowboy stuff enough. We want the first overall pick. So I figure they'll get a way to get the first overall pick. The Colts really can't move up or down. So figure Saturday I want to win this game. Do I want to lay 3 with the Colts, or I just like take a cheap money line? Probably go with just a cheap money line on the Colts. Do I really want to be sitting here betting this game, watching this game? Probably not. But if I did, I'd bet the Colts. Brad, anything for you in the Colts and the Texans?
This is kind of funny, right? Like the circa millions. There's 3 people left in the 6 million, and one of the guys picked the Colts.
Wow.
This guy is essentially betting $2 million on the Colts. I mean, the Colts should win, right? Like, if you're the Texans, it's like, how bad do you want the number 1 pick? Like, do you want to have the pick of your litter here on the road? Like, if you just absolutely go into this game and you absolutely fold, like you're running gadget plays, having fun, losing by 25 plus, no one's going to blame you. No one's going to say you were tanking. You're on the road. And then there's a little bit of motivation. Saturday wants to end what could be his coaching career with the Colts on a high note. I'd probably lay the 3, but God, like, why would you want to bet this game? Like, there's times when you as a bettor and as a handicapper, you like think about situations that set yourselves up for success. Like, this doesn't set you up for success, because if you win, if you win, I don't think that your odds of winning this game are in your favor. Like, you're not betting on teams who have a clear pathway to victory. Like, the Texans could play the spoiler. Like, maybe that number 1 pick is not all that important to them because the guy they actually like is Will Levis. They don't really care. So I'm laying off this game, but like, I'd probably lay it with the Colts.
Yeah, no, I to kind of counterpoint that, I think this is a smash spot for Indianapolis.
Like -3?
Yeah, I think they'll win the game comfortably. There's zero incentive for Houston to be competitive at all. The number 1 pick, even if you don't want to take it, is worth a huge bounty in the trade.
Especially over the quarterback, where there's perceived to be good quarterbacks at the top. Absolutely.
I mean, this would be fumbling the bag to a catastrophic level if they win this game. So organizationally, you have to get this memo down. We do not win this game. You'll if they go into Indianapolis and snatch this victory in the closer for the Colts, I would be shocked, like shocked. It would be right. I mean, literally, like this would be up there with the biggest surprise of the season for me.
And just to counter it, like we've seen the Jets have a chance at Lawrence, win a couple games late and blow their opportunity. So it's tricky. Does the coach really want to lose? Probably not. Lovie Smith supposedly lobbying for a second year.
I think he gets it, right? I mean, they're pretty much.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know. The guy above him, Cesario, put this team together. Does he get another year? There's a lot of moving parts. So that's why I'm like, it makes sense for us to say, hey, you got a tank, but maybe the players or maybe the front office thinking, we need to maybe win a game here. I don't know. It's a tricky situation. I would think they've gotten the memo and they figure out a way to lose the game. Sean Payton made a comment about a game in 2014. He was coaching the Saints. Lovie Smith was coaching the Bucs, and he said Lovie completely tanked the game at the end of the year to make sure they kept the first overall pick. They're taking guys out. They're running weird plays. So keep that in mind. I would only look towards Indy, though. This is a must-lose situation for the Texans. We always hear about must-win. This is a
must lose. This is, I mean, it's
must lose.
They will. I mean, it would be
malpractice. So bank account on the Colts.
Yeah, I would say as responsibly as you're willing to get down. Go. I mean, there are these certain spots where you just understand how much is at stake. They're not going to screw this up and win this game.
Let me see if I don't know if I don't think I bet this one in my little fun parlay that I made.
Yeah.
Would you think about an alternate line here, Matkafee? Sounds like you would. An alternate, late.
I don't really even need to go alternate line. I would just, know, I would swallow the juice and I would just take the Colts to win the game.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and pay over whatever you need to pay. Like, don't get too cute. Don't overthink it. Colts will win this thing. And
you're at least getting Ellinger at quarterback. It's not like Foles. I mean, that was dangerous to Foles' health to be out there last week. That was really last couple weeks.
They made him earn his money. That's all they were doing.
They did.
It's like I think Irsay resented the fact that he paid him all that money to just not do shit. So it's like go in there and get knocked around a little bit. But yeah, the Colts just they have enough weapons on this team to move the ball. I think with Pittman, Campbell, Pierce, they should move the ball and should score enough points here at home. They'll want to win and send the fans home happy. Yep. It's to me.
They can't move up or down in the draft. Yeah, I'm with you.
I would be shocked, like a 10 out of 10 shock if the Texans get this win.
All right, moving on here.
Wait, question: no, would you take Pittman 100+ receiving yards? So he gets 105. He's got the 1,000-yard receiver.
I mean that's a decent look. I know the Texans statistically rank well against the pass. That's just because they're so bad against the run that teams don't even really.
Yeah.
It's like when you're literally the worst against the run, like I think DVOA, they are the worst. Your passing numbers are going to just be artificially deflated because of that. So
plus 780.
Plus 780. I mean, that's a fun little ladder.
That's a fun night. Like fun number.
I mean, I guess you're just kind of thinking, you're hoping Ellinger can get the ball to him, but Pittman's, he's not afraid to go over the middle, and he's a big body, so that does make some sense. I think that's a fun little narrative. So I'm not sure if he has a escalator in his contract that 1,000 yards would unlock. I know back in the day, 1,000 yards was pretty important for wide receivers, but now with an extra game and how much air raid it is, like it seems like 1,500 is like is if you had a good season. Like 1,000's kind of like what 600 or 700 used to be 10 years ago. So I'm surprised we spent this much time on this one.
We did. We love this game.
We do kind of like it a lot.
Yeah.
Texans at left guard might be a tough matchup.
Right,
we can move on. We can move on. If we still have any viewers left, we apologize. Right. This is another game not too exciting. This is a game I do have a bet on, a small bet. It's a weird one. I like Atlanta minus the 4. I guess it's 4.5 now against Tampa. I can't see Tampa after everything they've been through, injuries, off the field stuff, poor play on the field. I can't see them after finally clinching the division saying, all right, now let's go beat Atlanta. I think this is a deep sigh of relief. I think they take a deep breath and just say, you know what, Atlanta, you want to beat us by 100 points, beat us by 100 points. We got to get healthy here for our playoff game. I don't think Tampa gets off the bus. So I look towards an under 2, maybe, I could see it like a 21-10, 24-10 Tampa win. I just can't see Tampa playing their guys. I can't see Tampa carrying. Not that Atlanta's some great team, but I do think Atlanta probably gets this one. And of course, Tampa beat them earlier in the year with that bogus roughing the passer. So a week after finally somehow clinching the division, I just don't see Tampa being too into this game. So I like Atlanta. Brad, this is your squad. Do you think they play it all here?
No, it's not even so much about what's gone through the season. It's who's the head coach. Like we have like the most, like the safest head coach in the entire NFL.
Good point.
Bowles is going to be like, all right, boys, you guys are not playing more than one series. We're getting you guys healthy for the playoffs. Like it's going to be such a cakewalk. I even wanted to take Tyler Algier rushing yards. Did they load him up? Oh, they loaded him. No, they didn't. Dang it. I want to take his rushing yards so bad because I could even see them not giving Cordell Patterson a lot of run, older running back, kind of let him just enjoy the rest of the season on the bench and chilling instead of getting banged up going into the offseason. But they like what are we doing here? Like sports books, like, come on, like literally like we're an hour and 30 minutes away from the game. And like all I can bet is Evans and Godwin props in this game.
Yeah.
They're afraid about playing time. They're afraid about guys being pulled out. I mean, they're so afraid of everything today, rightfully so. But yeah, it's a tough day for props.
It is.
Yeah, I think you can look at, well, once they finally drop, I think taking kickers props are probably good in this one because, hey, we'll just roll them out there. We're not going to do anything too crazy. Obviously, in a dome, you don't have to worry about weather or anything like that. And they'll just take the points, especially on the Bucks side of things. But I'm trying to find a price. But like you mentioned, like the menu is sparse to say the least. This is like a tasting menu at at a soft opening. Like you're not getting anything. Like so, it's hard to say. I'm not going to dive too much into this because I don't have enough.
Yep.
And for me, like I would say, yeah, Falcons, same kind of situation with like the Bucks in a if they literally have nothing to play for here.
Right.
Falcons probably can send their fans home happy and say, "Hey, thanks for coming out and get this win." But yeah, I would feel irresponsible diving in and recommending any place because I don't have anything on this game.
Another game we can sort of breeze through unless you guys have an objection to it. Game I have no interest in. A game that doesn't mean anything. Saints are laying 3.5 against the Panthers. Both teams have been eliminated. I don't want to lay 3.5 here. All things being equal, I feel like when there's nothing to play for, the home team plays a little harder. Like you said, they want to send their fans home happy. But I'm not down to lay 3.5 here. This is a game I won't watch. I won't bet. Anything for you guys?
No, not really. This was a game where I kind of leaned a little bit towards the Saints. What stinks is like I leaned towards the Saints, right? But I wanted to take Foreman's rushing over. But you can't, another game where you can't bet it, and it doesn't make sense for me to kind of want to take Foreman. Maybe I just sprinkle a little bit of Taysom Hill to score a touchdown because I feel like he's kind of automatic at this point.
Yeah, if you want to play a touchdown score, Juwan Johnson, obviously he's been hot as a anytime touchdown. I think that might have some value, or like, yeah, I mean, you're not. Do you want any of these guys to take a lot of big hits or anything like that? I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
So, maybe like Blackshear and Shaheed, like those guys, kind of deeper in the depth chart that also return kicks and punts. I feel like could be good, just dark horses. Because they both will get snaps on offense too. Blackshear will get carries out of the backfield, and Shaheed he's kind of more of a situational deep threat. But I mean, that it just runs some gadget plays, maybe something like that. If you're just dying to bet this game for some reason, that would be kind of fun looks to have anytime sprinkles.
Yeah, we can move on. We've said enough about this game. A game that is important here. Patriots control their own destiny. They are somehow in the playoffs with a win. The Bills have just terrorized them. Really, I mean, the Patriots, every time these teams meet, the Patriots just can't keep up. Allen does whatever he wants with his legs, and the Bills just seem to roll. Bills are laying 8.5, total 43.5. It's tricky with the Bills. Everything they've been through this week, they come out fired up and win by 40. Are they distracted all week? Haven't crossed their T's, dotted their I's on the game plan. I'm sure people will play the results no matter what happens. If they lose, people say they're distracted. If they win, they'll say they're motivated. To me, don't overthink it here. The Bills are an obvious teaser leg. You could take them down through the 7, through the 3. They just basically have to win the game by less than a field goal or more. So I would include the Bills in a teaser here. I think they roll. Of course, everything with that happened this week is a little bit of a curveball, but I would think the Bills get it done. Matt, you could start us off here. Pats and Bills, anything you got in pocket?
Nothing. Well, the Bills are one of those teams I've on my money line parlay, but I just think with this emotional lift that they've got, like this is such a tremendous thing. You've seen it in the interviews that McDermott gave, and some of the players have given, like seeing him like flex for him and the FaceTime call. I just think the Bills have wind in their sails now, and like you mentioned already, they already beat the Patriots up, and Mac Jones and company in that offense cannot keep up with the Bills scoring.
Yep.
So unless you get a Herculean effort out of Belichick's defense today and hold the Bills down to 24 points or something like that, like
score on defense, which they've done. They could do. I mean, that's what you'd need though. You probably need to score on defense if you're doing it.
To me, I just can't see the Patriots offense scoring enough points to stay within this number. So I would lay the points with the Bills. If you're not that comfortable doing that, then you maybe just can play a Bills team total, because I think they'll probably at least get 4 touchdowns today. Let me make sure that team total isn't like too high out of playable range. Yeah, team total is 26.5. I would just go Bills team total over that. To me, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think you're going to see an amazing effort from the Bills, right? Like we think about when Christian Eriksen went down, Denmark, their next game had an amazing effort. Like they're doing this for DeMar the whole game. But what's even more important to remember, like you guys said it, like even if this never happened, the DeMar situation never happened, the Bills own the Patriots now. Like I think the Patriots get ran out of the gym. Like what in this Patriots offense makes you think they can keep up? Nothing. And I think 8's a fair number. Like we've seen these situations. Like the Bills have been 8-point favorites. Like the only team who's been covering that 8 number has been the Jets against them, but everyone else has been getting just absolutely cakewalked.
Yep. Totally with you. Anything first touchdown or props before we move on?
Not for me.
I would play on the Bills side of things. I think you can just ignore the Patriots. I guess if you want to play any Patriot, maybe play the Patriots defense and special teams. Just maybe they get a surprise, and it's 40-1. So if you want to do something on that side, go for it. But yeah, the Bills guys, you got to go a long way down to Stevenson at 9-1, 10-1 to get anything. So I think Diggs is a great look. I think Allen's a great look. Gabe Davis, you name it. Like these guys are going to want to score. I think I would go more for a pass catcher than one of the running backs. So, gosh, yeah, I think Stephon Diggs is the guy. He's kind of due. I don't think he's scored in about a month. So even though he's one of the short shots, I just like I could see the image of him scoring and them having something planned to kind of honor him. So that would be my play.
And the way I understand it, if the Pats lose, they could still get in. They just need the Browns to beat the Steelers and the Jets to beat the Dolphins, which both of those are coin flippy type of games.
Yeah,
so
that could happen.
Not impossible. We get Patriots Bills again next week, so that would be a good matchup for the Bills. I don't think any of these teams that could get the 7. Miami probably without Tua. Pittsburgh. I don't think Buffalo's really in any danger of losing the 2-7 matchup. But moving on here, another tricky game. Vikings are laying 7. It is Nathan Peterman for the Bears. You would think the Vikings would play hard for a little bit. They want to get their taste out of the mouth, the taste out of their mouth after just a terrible performance last week against Green Bay. So you know what? Bears are similar to the Texans, where you don't want to win this game and risk your draft position here. Vikings is a teaser. Vikings first half. They'll probably play for a little bit, maybe play for a half. They can be the 2, but that they would need San Francisco to lose to Arizona later in the day. So disparate motivation here for Minnesota. I can't see them playing too hard. I could see them as a teaser. I could see them first half, but Don't want to go too crazy with this game. Jefferson needs 190 something yards to get to, was it the record or 2,000? So
Yeah,
not
to get
get
to
there.
2,000. Like,
I don't know. You guys take it, Brad. Take it however you want to go.
this is an interesting. Like, they have nothing to play for, and if I like recall, like last season, didn't the Rams? Like, I'm using the Rams because O'Connell is now from the McVay tree. Didn't the Rams sit everyone last year? Like for their last game, like if I remember correctly,
I don't
they
think
played
so.
like
I
they
think
played
they
a
played
little
the
bit, right?
49ers and they almost beat the 49ers, but the Rams did have something to play for.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
The
I thought they
division
didn't have it.
seeding,
Yeah,
nothing crazy, but something like that. Because remember, the 49ers needed a last second drive just to get in against the Rams. I think I'm remembering that right.
yeah, no, okay. I was trying to look back and I just couldn't figure it out. But yeah, like I mean, I'd imagine the Vikings win this game and cover. Like you want to go into the playoffs a little fresh, right? But then when you look at numbers like 7 on the road, you think about like when are the Vikings taking their guys out? How much do they care about getting Justin Jefferson to 2,000? So like maybe I don't know. I just can't imagine the Vikings want to go into the playoffs on a losing streak. Not with how fraudulent everyone's been talking about them. It's not like they've had a great season and then they just had this mystery loss. Like they have a losing margin of victory. And like, come on, like a 10-win team with a losing margin of victory doesn't want to go in the playoffs with another loss. So it's tough game to bet. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I'm with you. Very tough one, but I think Nathan Peterman it tells you all you need to know. Bears are not invested in winning this game, so you tease down the Vikings if you're worried about a backdoor cover somehow. That Bears offense is Justin Fields and his dynamic ability to run. If they're having Nathan Peterman standing in the pocket trying to throw the ball out and around the field, I don't see that being very successful for them. So, like you mentioned, throw them on a teaser if you're worried about laying the points. I would say you could play if you have first half props for players, maybe you can kind of look at those types of things. I know those are kind of limited out there. But yeah, to me, with when you have one team that's very clearly like superior to the other, and you just want to get them to the money line somehow, some way.
Yeah.
So the teaser makes sense. I would stay away from the props. Would it surprise you if the Bears somehow jump out to a lead and like the Vikings are playing like all the way? Maybe I do feel like they're the kind of team that wants to chase these statistical milestones. So I think Jefferson will probably have a pretty big first half. And if he's flirting with it, like
Leave him
maybe,
in.
yeah, leave him in. And I just, gosh, it's almost malpractice though, like
Yeah. Plus, they lost linemen last week. Like, I totally agree. Jefferson's going
right.
to push for this record. I remember he cared last year about, what was it, like the all-time Vikings record, and Zimmer's like, I don't care about that. I'm trying to win a game like that,
Right.
and that didn't even matter for the Vikings at that point. So
Yeah.
it's tough. They lost some linemen along the way last year. It's how much more do you want to deal with here? I don't know.
And he's already said, he's pretty high on himself. He's already said he's the best receiver in the NFL. So does he need this statistical milestone to prove it?
He's going to want it. These receivers all would want it. Hell, I would
Yeah.
want it. I mean, look, it's human
Yeah.
nature to some
Yeah.
extent, but it's a tough, line to walk there.
I think if you're the Bears, you just say, "Hey, we're going to take you away." Like you just frustrate the hell out of them. Double him every time. Press.
They are beat up in the secondary though, man. They are just all their guys are just on IR. That's a
Right.
weird one.
It
Yeah.
is a weird one for sure, but you'll know what they want to do. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like so, to me, it's just like, hey, you make the Vikings use Osborne and Thielen and Hawkinson,
That's a good
and
point.
just keep taking away Jefferson.
Because they don't care about winning the game anyway. They're just gonna say, "Hey, we'll put 3 guys on you. You're not catching any balls for any yards. You
Right.
can beat us 100 to nothing.
Yeah.
You're just not breaking the record." You're
Yep.
right. You're right.
Yeah, that would be fun. So
I think Hawkinson has an incentive in this game too, right? Oh, he needs 100 for 1,000, 102 for 1,000.
I mean, there's potential he could get that much. He's a target monster. I think he's
Yep.
definitely the number 2 target on this team.
Yeah.
Since he's moved there, I know he's got the second most targets. So that could be a good look. I mean, like you mentioned, the Bears are kind of banged up. So maybe pivot off the Jefferson side of things and look for value elsewhere.
Bengals, Ravens. Bengals are laying 10.5. I think that tells you all they need to know. I'm sure the Bengals, like you said, Matkafee, have a little chip on their shoulder. I'm sure they take it out on the Ravens today. It's not Lamar and it's not Huntley, right? Is Huntley out?
It's Anthony.
It's Anthony Brown, who was not even good at Oregon. So, boy, this is going to be Cincy. They're going to roll here. I would imagine Cincy. I don't know how many style points they want, but I would only look towards Cincy. It's a lot of points. So, easy pass for me, Brad. Do you have anything on this game?
I think I do. Give me 1 second. No, I do not have anything on this game. It was like I was waiting because I was going to take Gus Edwards rushing yards, right? And then you think about Gus Edwards, he's going to be the number one. And then when they announced Anthony Brown and announced Mark Andrews out, then that makes me start to wonder, like, what's the point of even running Gus Edwards? His line was 36 rushing yards, but like, how do they not run a three-headed monster? Like, they clearly are punting this game. Like, why would they care about Gus Edwards at this point? So, interesting enough, I've been monitoring this line because I wanted to see if I was going to tease the Bengals. Line moved from 8, now it's 11. Earlier in the week, I do like to take my favorite NFL and parlay them with soccer. So I did take the money line here at like minus 350. I parlayed it a couple times. I parlayed it with some unders. It's my last leg, so I'm happy to see that Bengals is now minus 600.
Yeah, that same thing with me, man. They were part of my big money line parlay for this weekend. If you're going to attack anything, you could play Ravens team total under. You could look at Justin Tucker field goals, but I'm not even seeing it offered right now. I've shot.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because that's our weekly thing. It's such a great every week. I'm worried about them getting into field goal range twice, and I'm worried, if they get down 21-0, they're be kicking field goals. It's too wonky for me. It's a stay away.
I think so. Yeah. I think they would kick them. That when you're down to what is this their fourth string quarterback now, or what is
I think he's still third, but
third.
Yeah, it's just
he's not good. Just wait till he's not good.
So anything you're gonna roll him out there. I think you could play. It's pretty juicy. You could play their touchdowns under 1.5, but you got to lay like minus 150, minus 160 for that. Do you think they could go score 2 touchdowns here? I don't see it. So there's ways to attack it. But yeah, running clock, get us the hell out of here. That's what Harbaugh's saying. So you probably would go ahead and play whoever if it's even offered. I mean, good luck even getting a line on it. Like, because I don't see any Ravens props. I have none on the game right now. So you might. The books are getting to the point where they're just like, hey, we're not going to take L's on this week 18.
Right.
Which I think is a little bit weak on their part. But if I was in their shoes, I would probably do the same thing. So
we're gonna take our ball and we're gonna go home. You guys can
play
by yourself.
Hang a number and try to take action on both sides. To me, bookmaking is not that hard, but some of these decision makers are not in bookmaking anymore. They're in, hey, we're printing money for our shareholders. That's their motivation. So, it is what it is. So you just have to kind of find your spots.
We can move along. We'll probably go a little quicker on some of these games as we're first and gold here, presented by Pickett Sports. The Pickett app, download it. It's free. Helps with all your bet tracking, line shopping, everything you need. Pickett Sports. Eagles hosting the Giants. They clinch the division. The Eagles do with a victory. They clinch the 1 seed. The line tells you everything they need to know. The Giants are locked into the 6. They're probably going to be in Minnesota next week. Eagles laying 16.5, total 42.5. To me, this is Eagles or nothing. Don't want to really lay the 16.5, but to me, this has 35-10 written all over it. Brad, start us off here, Giants and Eagles.
Yeah, I win. I like the Eagles here. Giants aren't going to play anybody, probably. We don't know ultimately, but I like AJ Brown, receiving yards, 69.5. I think that there's some milestones here in this game that are pretty interesting. And I said this on Twitter that like betting incentives are fun, but you have to bet incentives that line up with the games. Like, I'm not going to take Mike Williams to receive 137 yards so he can be 137 yards or Zeke 134 rushing yards because Zeke's never ran for 134 yards this season. But AJ Brown has cleared this number a ton this season against a Giants team who's going to lack motivation, and an Eagles team who want to win the division. Like, even if it's a blowout, I think that their pathway to victory, the pathway to be a blowout, is throwing the ball, is running the ball with Hurts, is playing really good defense, not just taking their time, being slow and methodical. They're going to run their shit, and they're going to throw a rock to AJ Brown. AJ Brown also needs 5 receptions for Eagles record, receiving record, which is pretty cool. So I'm taking him. I'm not even going to bother like doing ladders, like, just because of the blowout factor. Like, I don't want him to be like sitting on 82, and then I need 18 more yards, and he doesn't even come out in the second half.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they roll. I think they cover. This is where you can find some value. If you dig deep, even though it's a little depressed, the books are a little sharp on this. I think you had to grab it a couple days ago, but there's still good numbers on like guys like Quez Watkins, Boston Scott. Deeper in the depth chart, Eagles guys who will be probably seeing a lot of action in the second half against a Giants team that's just ready to get the hell out of there. So look at it, see if you can find, Pascal, Trey Sermon, if he's even active, who knows? You look all the way down this Eagles depth chart, and to me, that's where you might find some value. Hurts, did they play him the whole game? I'm not
especially coming off an injury. Like,
yeah, especially coming off an injury. His passing yards prop is 250. If they're winning this game by 3 or 4 touchdowns at halftime, is he playing the second half? Do you maybe gamble and say, hey, I'll play under on Hurts props just because? Yeah, he doesn't get the whole game.
He injures it. He just hands it off a lot when they get to the league. There's a lot of pass to victory if you're playing the under there.
Yep. Yeah. So I think that makes sense. I mean, Hurts already is not a guy that's they don't want him throwing the ball 40 times anyway. So they do have balance, but I would lean potentially under on his stuff, thinking that they maybe do pull him out of there at halftime if the game's over by then.
I'm with you. We can move on here. Seahawks, Rams. Seahawks need to win, and they need Detroit to beat Green Bay later on Sunday night. Seahawks laying 5.5, total 41.5. To me, this is just a few too many points for Seattle. The Rams have played okay here. It's not like they have their pick or they're tanking. Mayfield's playing for his career. So, look, I don't know that Seattle's 5.5, 6 points better than everybody. That they are home. They do need the game. If you want to tease Seattle, I understand it. To me, it's Rams are past with the points. Nothing in my account yet. Matt, what do you have here? Rams and Seahawks.
Seahawks on a teaser, like you said. I mean, this is perfect. Tease them down. They'll win this game. They'll take care of business. Rams, they're plucky. They can surprise you a little bit, but I feel like in this spot, Seattle is going to go out of here on a high. I think you can look at. I would probably fade Walker just because the Rams do still have success at stopping the run, even though a lot of these guys are out. So I would look out at the outside and say, let's look at Geno Smith and some passing props. DK and Lockett. I'm trying to make sure their numbers aren't got crazy. Yeah, 68.5 for DK. Is Lockett out for this one? I would need to double check. I'm not seeing a line.
I have the injury report right here.
Yeah. Noah Fant, 26. That looks a little low for me. He seems like he's got some rapport here with Geno. So I think if you're taking Seattle, you're on the right side. But to be safe, tease them down, pair them with something else.
Yeah, they still have Lockett as questionable. Yeah, he didn't practice all week, so I wouldn't imagine he's just going to suit up. But yeah, I think that this is a teaser on either side. You want to take it. I don't see Seattle moving the ball that well against this team, against this Rams team, who's very good at stopping the run, even with Donald coming out and these guys not playing. Like, they've still seen success stopping the run. And Baker Mayfield, man, God, like, we saw him on Christmas. Like, this is his chance. And Sean McVay, like, there's so many question marks, like, about what's going to happen with Sean McVay's career moving forward, right? Like, is he going to take a break? Is he going to blah, blah, blah? Is he going to do this? Is he going to do that? I think he wants to go out on a high note, and Baker Mayfield is just the quarterback for him to do that. Like, it's not like he went out there and got Baker Mayfield and they're running like the Cleveland Browns offense. No offense, Matkafee. But he got Baker Mayfield, who's a gunslinger, who running a good offensive system, a QB friendly system. So I think you can tease either way.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. How about we skip, unless you guys have an objection, I'm all for skipping over Cardinals 49ers. 49ers wrap up the 2 seed.
Yeah.
Dead Cardinals team. I don't know. I don't want to lay it. I don't want to take it. You guys have anything to add before we move on that one?
No, I don't even have props, nothing in that
Nothing.
game. I don't,
Yep.
no part of it.
Yeah, we don't. And a reminder to the audience: look, you don't have to bet every game. There's nothing wrong with passing some of these games, especially in a week like this. Broncos are getting bet here. I'm not surprised. Laying 4.5. Here's the deal: if the Bengals beat the Ravens, the Chargers clinch the 5 seed, and the Bengals game is before this one, so Chargers could very well take the field with nothing to play for. I think we could see a Chase Daniel game in Mile High, and if you're going to rest Herbert, you're probably going to rest some other guys. I would only look towards the Broncos laying the points. And look, laying 4.5 now, I don't know. At 3, it was one thing. At -170, it was one thing. But now you're up to 4.5. It's getting out of there for me. Again, we don't have to spend forever on this. But, Matt, you can start here. Anything Broncos and Chargers.
Sorry, I was reacting to an absolute golazo from Riyad Mahrez. Free kick, top bin,
Really?
top corner. Oh, beauty. Yeah, about 30, 28, maybe 30 from goal. Curls it in, top corner. Just an absolute peach.
Wow.
Oh, no, I guess it did take a small deflection on the way through. But anywho, still great finish. I would say I don't trust the Broncos at all. So even in a game where the Chargers might not have anything to play for, what do they take all their guys out of there? Like, do they maybe you rest Eckler?
Well, I think they'll rest Herbert.
You think they'd rest Herbert?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I guess
You're not playing for anything. You're the 5 seed. You got Jacksonville next week. You're set. You're ready to go.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe get them some reps or something. But what's the point? I mean,
yeah. No, I know but we saw them and with a chance to tie, and they're doing dumb stuff. So
don't bring that up. I had
you know what I mean.
Do not bring that up. That's not called for. Shots are fired. Jesus.
Yeah, is the NFL going to be like, oh,
no.
No, of course they're not. But like, it's a weird one to me. I think the Chargers would play their guys. I feel like Staley is Brandon Staley when given an opportunity to tie a game and he didn't.
I thought it was more the Raiders not participating. I thought the Chargers battled back. I thought it was more the Raiders not. It takes 2 to tango. I thought the Chargers would have been more than happy to tie.
Yeah,
I thought it was more.
They called the timeout and stuff. Like I don't know. I feel like they'll try to win this game. To me, I would take the points with the Chargers. I think they're top to bottom the better team. I think this Broncos defense is finally broke. And even if they play a half, I think the Chargers can go out there and put enough points on the board. Talk about a team with nothing to play for, the Broncos. I mean,
yeah.
What are they playing for? Why would you want to lay points with Russell Wilson in this Denver Broncos team? Like, to me, just stay off the game more than anything. I don't have any action on it right now, but if I'm catching that many points against the Broncos, I think that's a good bet, actually. Chargers win it. They seem to always be in a 3-point game anyway, so now I'm getting more than 3 points. I'll take it.
Yeah, it's funny, right? Like the Broncos were a 3-point dog. Now they're a 4-point favorite. Like there's nothing that's desirable about this Broncos team for me to place a bet. And I just am not 100% sold on all these teams, like taking players out. Like this is going to probably be like, you ask yourself, like, okay, if you want to bet the Broncos, you're probably only betting the Broncos because the Chargers aren't playing people. So then what the smart thing to do is just wait right before pregame.
It's going to go up to like 6 though, because I bet it Denver this morning -160, and we're already up to like -220. So people are getting the memo.
Yeah, they're gonna get the memo. But what I'm saying, I didn't mean like right before the game starts. I meant when you're gonna see players for on-field warmups, follow their beat writers. They're gonna tell you who's warming up. For me, I'm not playing this crap. Like, get out of here. Like I'm real good. Like good. I'm hard pass.
Yeah, it's getting away from me. I wish I bet more of it because I was convinced this was going to close at 6. And look, when you can lay 3 and you know it's going to close 6, you just bet it and go from there. But
by the way, let's talk about a line. You got good closing line value on Tampa Bay, Atlanta. Line is now moved to 6.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah. I think, look, people are probably getting whispers of who's playing and who's not. And I think the who's not is probably a substantial list. Final day game. I like the dog here too. Washington plus 7.5. Look, this line moved a lot. You can't move the line going from Carson Wentz to anybody. I know Howell's playing. Washington's got nothing to play for, but I think Dallas at some point looks up and sees Philly beating the Giants and says, all right, there's a chance we maybe we should take our guys out too. So I don't know what kind of effort you get from Dallas. 7.5 is too many. I like the points here. Brad, anything for you, Washington and Dallas, before we move on to the final game?
No, I actually lean to Dallas here. Like I just think that oh my God, McCarthy's the kind of coach to be like, don't screen watch. Like he's been there, he's done that, he's had his fair share of burns. He's one of his guys go out there and play tough throughout the entire game. But ultimately, like I think that if they get to the halftime locker room and the Eagles are absolutely clobbering the Giants, then yeah, you're gonna see Zeke for sure play less. Tony Pollard might not even play. He's already banged up, and so I wouldn't imagine play that much. So then your desire to play any props or play a side kind of goes down.
I see. For me, the Cowboys are still not quite clicking yet. Like they want to chase stats. They do care about their stats. That's confirmed. They leave their whole team in the whole game, all week, or all month. They've been doing that the last month when there were situations where um, it looked like it didn't matter. And I know that seems great because now it might not matter, but I think they just want to keep it rolling. They don't have full confidence in Dak in this passing game yet. Like they want to get as much rhythm established as possible. I think you see them play the whole game. I think they chase
Wow.
stats the whole way. It's like Brad was saying, McCarthy he's not caring what else is going on out there. I think he wants his team firing at all cylinders. So Washington, yeah, I don't see them being able to move the ball very well. I don't like laying over 7.5. Another great teaser leg. I think we've said this almost every game. Um,
It is.
but yeah, I think CeeDee Lamb is going to have a ton of targets today. I think looking at his line, 64.5, pretty low. I think he can clip that. Um, yeah, I mean, looking down, I don't see a way Washington can hang around in here in this match. Like, so that would be the way I'd play it. I would tease the Cowboys down. They are in my money line parlay, like I mentioned, and identify a couple props. Like CD, I think is a great look here. He could hit that in the first half if him and Dak get the rapport going early. Um, they're
I
a
like
team
CD
that
a little bit.
yeah, I think they're just a team that needs to. They're still not like, hey, we're cool, we're all set. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
bring on the play. Like, I think they're still working a few things out, and especially in division too. Like, this is not a rivalry that's been as intense as it was back in the '90s, but like, I mean, this is the Cowboys' number one rival, right? I mean, it's the Skins and the Boys. Like, I know they're not the Skins anymore, but like correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that was like their
Oh,
been
it's
their number
huge.
one. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
huge
It's
rival. So
huge, but I don't know. Is that really going to go into your decision here? Like, I think your better point is, hey, we're not clicking. We need to get right. I don't know how much. Like with the playoff game next week,
yeah,
this is a team that hasn't made a run in the playoffs in a very long time. And it's funny. I think you're around my age. You grew up with the Cowboys, man. They were in the Super Bowl every year. They haven't been in
yeah,
the NFC title game since '95. So I think getting right for the playoffs, whether you think that's resting, whether you think that's playing a little bit, is the better angle. I just think it's too many points. Do you guys think Ron Rivera will rest his starters thinking he has a playoff game next week because he doesn't seem to know the playoff scenarios?
yeah. I mean,
Man, Ron
if
Rivera.
if you're the Washington guys, like what do you keep throw your guys out there for? I'm not sure of their contract incentives and where they're at, but
Is Rivera safe? Rivera might be coaching
I
for the
don't think he's
job.
safe, man. I don't
I
think
would
he's safe.
say if they got a buyer lined up, which it seems like the NFL does have a buyer lined up for the franchise, I would assume they want to hire a whole new staff,
Right.
probably a brand new GM, brand new coach, the whole thing. Anybody that's a cornerstone that you think is going to be a part of this team going forward, like McLaurin, and Young and guys like that that are just like your Pro Bowl caliber players. Um, I'm not leaving them out there in harm's way. I don't see any advantage in doing so. Rivera,
But if Rivera doesn't think he's safe, Rivera wants to win this game though. That's the other thing.
yeah, I guess so. I mean,
I would think he played to win. Do you really want to? You really want to get blown out 40-10 going into? You didn't finish well. You lost to the Browns. You were supposed to. You had a chance to make the playoffs. I would think we get an effort from Washington. Whether that's good enough, I have no idea. I would think we get an effort from Washington.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the last week, like I was saying, I was on the Browns, and
yes,
I think people were like, I don't know about that, but like right now, the Browns are not playing as well as the Cowboys are playing, and
right.
I think that they went in there and kind of dominated the game. So uh, I think that this is the right side. Like, I mean, Carson Wentz is not great. We know that, but like he at least gives you competency sometimes at the position. Like, what's the drop off now? And like, yeah, I think Dallas is the side.
Final game, Packers and the Lions. Packers are in with a win. Lions need a win, and they need Seattle to lose to the Rams. Boy, Stafford's not going to play, but Stafford can come back for his old team and help out the Lions. That would be a good story, but I don't think we're getting that. Packers laying 4.5. If you think that Seattle is going to win and eliminate the Lions, I would wait if you like Detroit because this line would get bet up. People think, oh, Detroit's out of it. They're not going to care. Nothing to play for. I'd be careful here. I think Detroit either way is live in this game. I think they would take something out of knocking out Green Bay. I think they're building something. They played well the last 6 weeks. You got backdoor potential. I just don't think there's a 4.5-point difference between the Packers and the Lions. So I would lean towards the Lions, probably wait, see what their status is. But interesting game. Packers in with a win. Boy, this would be just a miraculous turnaround to get in the playoffs and play San Fran. Brad, what you got here? Packers and the Lions. Final game of the regular season.
I kept looking at this, right? And I was like, give me a reason to bet the Packers, but I couldn't really find one, right? I think that even if the Lions are out, like Dan Campbell came out and said, he was like, I want to play the spoiler. I want to go out there and win, regardless if this is our situation. He said, our only objective in this game is to win. They're going to get the Lions' best effort. The Packers have played a lot better, in this season. And if there is any player win and you're in situation, in the NFL, I would put my money on Aaron Rodgers. So it's a tough one for me. I'm ultimately going to stay away. This is like one of those situations where, you see how the bets do throughout the day. Have a beer and sprinkle a little money on one side that you like the most. I'd probably lean Packers, but not enough conviction to put more than maybe $5 on it.
I think the Packers handle business here.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I think they're balanced now on offense. I think defensively, yeah, they still aren't great, but I think they can do just enough to kind of get off some pass rush on Goff here. I think that place will be a cauldron tonight. It'll be noisy. That Lions offense will have trouble hearing and
somebody look up cauldron.
Yeah. So, yeah.
What's the weather? It's not terrible, right? Not terrible.
No,
you always have to worry about the weather with Goff, and you don't want it too bad. You want good conditions. That's an offense that needs to be perfect conditions to operate or good conditions.
Sure. Well, and I mean, good conditions. That's good for Rodgers and his offense too. I think they're just right now it all set up too perfectly. I would be really shocked if the Lions can get this win here. So I think
I could see it being a field goal game. I agree. I have a hard time seeing Detroit win it, but I could see it being a field goal game.
Yeah, that's fair. I think the Packers have shown who they are over the course of the season, and the Lions are just plucky enough that they can score some points here. I know Williams has some incentives in his contract, and he has some records. Yeah. If he gets a touchdown today, he ties his Barry Sanders for a season record, and if he gets 2, obviously he would break that record. So I think that's something cool that they may look to do. I'm not sure.
I would think if they're eliminated, maybe they look forward. If they're playing win to get in, I don't think they look at any of that stuff. I think they look. This is life or death here.
Yeah, well, and I mean, what better play do you have at inside the box and hand the ball off to Williams? He's that guy near the end zone. So Gosh, I do think that the Packers will win this thing, and they'll win it. Not, I won't say super comfortably, but I do think they can cover this number here. But yeah, tease them down with something else. Like we keep saying that over and over again, but I think it's a smart play. That Lambeau, prime time winning in, like they're not losing this game.
I kind of hope Seattle loses just so this is for all the marbles. Detroit, I kind of want Detroit to have a shot going into this game. It'll make the game more fun. It's fun to have Detroit in the mix. So kind of rooting for that. I don't know that we'll get it.
Dan Campbell, he just, he's a little bit of a wild card here. You're not sure exactly what you get. And then if it is a winning situation, you'll probably see some wild trick plays and some crazy things happening out of there. So
I think they might even be looser if they're eliminated. They might, fake punt, go for it on fourth down. They might really just sort of pull out the tricks if they have nothing to play for.
Just have some fun.
I guess if that happens, like what kind are you up for it? You know what I mean? Like or do you just relax that, 5-10%, like where you just, like, damn.
Here's the thing though. I don't think once players take the field, I don't think that's an issue. I think when teams have nothing to play for, I think it's more in the prep all week, and they've prepped all week like they have a shot. So I think you have that going for you if you're Detroit, where it's like, hey, we prepped all week like this is winning in. So you at least have that motivation aspect of it.
I just feel like for me, if I go to put my head on the pillow tonight and I'm like, I lost money on the Detroit Lions at Lambeau, like I'm gonna be like, what the fuck was I thinking? It's my language, but like, I think that's the way you play it.
On that note, I think we can wrap up. We got to go pick and play of the day, right? What should we go with?
Gosh, I think. What do you do? You want to do a teaser because the word of the day was teaser so much?
Yeah, I feel like we all said teaser.
Right. So, what's your guys' favorite teaser leg here?
Bills
down. Bills down.
I'll go
Bills down. Browns up.
Bills down for me.
I like Bills down. Okay, that's one.
I could go either Browns or Cowboys, either one.
I would say Cowboys down.
Let's go Cowboys down.
Bills and Cowboys.
Have a little fun, boys. Let's have a little fun.
Yeah. Bills and boys.
Play of the day. 6-point teaser, Bills and the Cowboys. That's it.
It'd be fun.
All right, Matt, Brad, this is a good show. We got through all the games, a lot of info in a reasonably short amount of time. So good luck with all your plays. We'll be back next week. I don't know if we'll do a Saturday and a Sunday show because we got Saturday NFL games. So hopefully we will. That will be fun. But good luck with all your plays. Thank you guys for listening all season. Don't forget to retweet, tell your friends. Maybe we'll do some giveaways once the playoffs get started. I don't mind chipping in for some giveaways for our listeners. So Brad, Matt, appreciate you guys. Thanks.
Awesome.
Peace.
Good luck.